Hello, welcome to the Intelligent Technologies Live Marathon. I'm Shailendra, and you're watching this simulcast live on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Wherever you are in the world, thank you for joining us. Hope you and your family are safe. For you to view this episode and other sessions that are run on Emerging Technologies Live, I would request you to follow me so that you can be alerted when a live session is on. This gives you an opportunity to directly ask the questions from our guests. So please press the follow button, the like button, and the subscribe button. Please ask your questions in the comment sections below, and also let us know if you know anyone you would like to hear from in this space. Buildings. Buildings consume more energy than one would think. People eat, sleep, work, shop, and spend most of their leisure time in buildings, whether they are high-rise apartment blocks, large retail malls, or single-unit family homes. Buildings collectively have an undeniable impact on the environment as a result of energy consumption. Across Europe, for example, residential buildings consume roughly 20% of the total primary energy generated, while in North America, nearly 115 million residential and commercial buildings consume an estimated 40% of the total US energy generation. So what if these buildings became intelligent? Let's ask this to Thomas. Thomas Tibbett is a senior solution manager in the Intelligent Enterprise Solutions team. He has 13 years experience in industry and academia working with complex data problems. He is a PhD in psychological and brain sciences and as a data scientist for Social Good Fellow. He pursues projects that make the world a better place, especially for his wife and 3 puppies. So without any further ado, let me invite Thomas. Hi, Thomas.
Hi there. How are you?
Very good. Welcome to the Intelligent Technologies Live Marathon.
Glad to be here. Thanks for inviting.
Good stuff. So let's start the session, and let me ask you a question about your background. So explain to us your background, your where have you started and what have you done so far, and what has brought you to this current role you are in?
Yeah, sure. So it's kind of a grab bag. A lot of my coworkers have focused a long time at SAP. I'm a relatively new person here, about 3 years experience, focusing on some of our guided outcomes here. So taking all sorts of products across our lines of business and formulating a business-centric outcome that we're pursuing in the form of a solution, a software solution. My background goes a little bit before that, where I focused mostly on first English, and then moving more into the psychology scene and the statistics scene. From there, I went more into the machine learning space, kind of thinking about those edge technologies, the things that are the cutting edge these days, moving into IoT and these other things. I ended up becoming a professor of data science for a brief period, and then moved into SAP, really talking about those hard-hitting problems that are facing businesses as well as individual customers today.
So you are a mix of working for a vendor, teaching people on statistics, the right mix, I think. I would imagine, to make anyone intelligent. Intelligent buildings. Yes. Please explain, what does that mean? What does it involve?
Yeah, it is a massive concept when we think about this stuff. So as you said, it's completely correct. Your introduction is that these are massively important assets, if you even think about them that way. They are huge, they're expensive, they require upkeep, and really they are something that every single business both find very important, but also discount with how they can best optimize it. We think of intelligent buildings with 4 different use cases overall, and how we can manage and optimize this space further to make it work for the business. We can think of it in terms of use cases in building analytics, where you're thinking about how you optimize this space and make it the best possible with the space that you have. You can do building management, which is thinking more at a logistics level, right? So if we're thinking about calendars and meetings and managing what goes on inside the buildings, that's a particular use case. We also think about the maintenance portion. So as your building ages, we need to be able to figure out how to best make it work for you without massively spending tons of money. Not everybody can, just go in, buy new buildings, they need to be able to upkeep the ones that they have and all of the assets in them. Mm-hmm. And then finally, there's protecting those buildings from those outside threats. Building security is the fourth use case. And so we think about it as a sort of encompassing concept. Within those use cases, there are multiple different scenarios that are specific. So you might have, for the building optimization, you could have space optimization. Where are your workers working? Are they needed in certain areas and not others? And be able to best optimize that. If we're thinking about security, you could do something with cameras per se. You could do something with vibration sensors. You could do it for just those standard things that you have with sensors of sort of touch sensors, pressure sensors, all of these other sorts of things. And how we think about that and how we engage with the customer will really morph how an intelligent building can work for that customer.
Okay. The moment I heard the word intelligent buildings, it reminded me of my last job when I was at Accenture. The building that we had in Sydney, it was considered to be the green building. And they said that this is one of the most optimized building. So whenever, and what I learned of it was that whenever the sun was on one side, the blinds would come by itself. You don't have to put on the blinds. Is it something of that sort? So does that include or utilize a lot of IoT and machine learning at the back of it? So explain that more in details, that how individuals are affected by an intelligent building.
Yeah, so individuals can be affected in very obvious ways, but also very subtle ones. So as you noted with the curtains, maybe you notice that as you're passing by a certain point of the day, the curtain comes down, that sort of thing. That's not necessarily too much of a machine learning thing, but it could be something where at a certain time of day, it goes, I need to switch, and it will, sort of an if-then statement. But there are other things that are less obvious. So you might think, for example, air conditioning, keeping something comfortable. Your employees or your customers, the best thing to do is to not notice that at all, and just to feel comfortable, not have to worry about an AC blowing on them all the time when they don't need it, or the heat's too far, or whatnot. Something needs to account for what's going on the outside and make it as unobtrusive as possible. And intelligent buildings can do that, given the right use case and the right attention you pay to it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Before I get to the next question, I must say that there are more than 20 people watching us at the moment simultaneously. Guys, if you've got a question, please put that in the comment section. And also for future purposes, if you know someone that you want to hear from and want me to ask questions to, then put their name as well. Coming back to my questions. This, one of the ideas that came to mind, and I was discussing with one of my old mates. He used to do a lot of facial recognition. And the thought that came to our mind, and I don't know whether that comes under intelligent buildings as well, that in lots of offices, you need a swipe card to get in. Do you think that intelligent buildings would be kind of buildings where you walk in and it will just take your face and map it to the people who are authorized to get into the building and allow them without swiping in and, waiting in the queue for getting into the building?
Well, as a lot of these sorts of problems in machine learning are, it often depends on what data is actually put into the structure to train it. Mm-hmm. So if it's something where we can make it as simple and unobtrusive as, you have a particular card and we swipe it, that kind of thing is fine too. If you're doing a security case, you don't necessarily have to identify who the person is for it to identify there is a person in this space. We should check on this immediately. And so, yes, my short answer is yes, as an expert, you absolutely can. Having a sufficient amount of pictures that are then classified to individual names. However, again, it really depends on the customer as well as considerations in data ethics or whatnot. The nice thing is that me managing this particular solution is that I am cognizant of all
products run at the back of it. So give us a bit of an understanding of an organization who's looking to get an intelligent building set up. What do they need and what do they actually get as a result of the solution?
Gotcha. So in terms of our standard offering, we really rely on the SAP Cloud for Real Estate product. We, of course, have the SAP Cloud Platform so that you have this available to you wherever you need it. And we also dip into our IoT sorts of suite. We've got SAP Leonardo Internet of Things. We focus on our IAM suite with the Asset Intelligence Network. And then there are other places that we can kind of go through as well. So one particular space for a visualization layer, we highly recommend SAP Analytics Cloud to kind of show something beautifully and elegantly to an operations manager of what needs to actually happen. Likewise, we also bring in our intelligent technology of conversational AI, which is a natural language processing chatbot, where your operations manager can speak with this particular chatbot to create those tickets that auto-generate and send to the people that actually manage this facility.
Okay. We're talking about emerging technologies. So tell me, what kind of emerging technology or intelligent technologies aspects like machine learning, data analytics, predictive, what are the key components that are embedded into the solution? And anything predictive that happens in the intelligent building space?
Absolutely. And a lot of it will, of course, I'll note, depend, right? This is an extremely, yeah, it's a very broad solution, right? And it's meant to be that way because we want to be able to start and focus on what's important, the most important right now, and then expand to something that's a little bit more, okay, so we've figured out the fires, we've put them all out. Now we can really start focusing on other particular scenarios and expand on it. So one particular example in working with a customer that has a more customer-centric, like their customer facing case is the San Francisco 49ers. In working with them and having this sort of intelligent stadium that they had, they were most curious fundamentally about their fans' experience. It's very difficult to convert somebody if you're only going to be open for a handful of events a year. So you need to make it good. And so in seconds, you need to react when something is the matter. And so they prioritized on the predictive functions for when things were going to run out. They were looking at sentiment. They were using basic IoT to show when things were doing well and how things were going to drop off the cliff, as well as attendance and where things were, the business stuff. Now, for that case, it's extremely different from the much more predictive focused case. We had a customer in the Middle East that focused on their AC units energy optimization. And that very much includes machine learning, predictive, to kind of bring in things like weather and all of these other external factors to model what they think the energy usage needs to be able to keep it comfortable, but then times where it's not needed to scale back. The great result from that we found in working with our machine learning there was we reduced seasonally their energy usage by about 15 to 30%, which translates to about 12 million to 24 million euro annually.
So I wouldn't be wrong to say that if you had a solution like intelligent building, it pays for itself in less than 6 months, then, if that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, it's the certain use cases are extremely they save so much money that I typically recommend to start first with them so that you can really not worry too much about the budget to kind of go through. You want to be able to make up those costs pretty quickly so that then you can focus on other cases that are more towards customer experience or other ones that don't necessarily have a concrete number.
Okay. Partners. Do you work with a lot of partners? Who are the partners involved? Anyone in specific you work with? Because last session I had with on the construction in a box was to a specific partner, but who all do you work with?
Well, we have a massive ecosystem of partners, and it will always depend. You may have folks that are helping with the delivery, but we also have a lot of actual hardware that may be involved in this if you're doing an IoT heavy case. And so, of course, you're going to need to bring in a partner to kind of navigate. Now, this has so many different parts that you can tackle. So we have use cases that are focusing on elevators. We have use cases that are focusing on HVAC. We have ones that are focused on customer experience and like satisfaction buttons that you press. You can imagine that there are sensors for pretty much anything. One of the things that we're really pursuing, I am personally very proud of, is our work starting on fighting this pandemic. This can involve as simple of sensors as, say, barcodes that you're able to update, but then can bring in other things like pressure, vibration, any sensor that you can think of, or any device that you can think of, and have it hook in via our wonderful suite of products to show what's going on so that an operations manager can act as quickly as possible to prevent damage or to help out their business.
Sure. So that means that it utilizes a lot of IoT behind the scenes, a lot of machine learning, and a lot of. So one more question. Sorry, it comes to mind. Do you use external data which is outside of the internal building data? So do you mesh the data coming from other sources as well?
Absolutely. Yeah. So as I noted for the stuff in the Middle East with HVAC, it's extremely important to have a reliable source of weather because that's going to make your facility hot or it's going to make it cold. And having that as an actual data point is huge in predicting exactly what's going to be occurring with your HVAC, like how much it's going to be struggling versus how much it can rest. So having that as one particular predictor among several, you can end up just having something extremely accurate, which if you take it even a small amount is millions of euro that you can consider here.
So I won't be wrong in saying that by implementing intelligent buildings, we have a very good experience for the users. We have a very good, we save a lot of money, and it works for the industry, for the environment as well. So this is a win-win for everyone, isn't it?
I like to think so. Yeah, it's great to be It's wonderful to tell your customers, hey, we got to get you to be more sustainable, but at the same time, we got to cut your costs as well. Luckily, we don't have to compromise on either of those.
Okay, that's perfect. Let me come on to the next point around use cases. So do you have any certain use case that you think you want to share with the audience? You did mention one. Is there anything else that you would like to share? It's up to you whether you want to share a name or not, but I'll leave it to you.
Right. So we've had several kind of customer successes and use cases. I would say the most common one, and the one I typically recommend first, is the energy utilization. It's something that we typically find can help pay for itself very quickly. Likewise, there's also space optimization, which is kind of a stealth expense. The amount that rent has or a mortgage has or anything else that you're doing in terms of space. If you can find out that you can use less space to do something equally well, then that is savings for you as well. So we typically recommend cases like that first because it's a lot friendlier to the customer in itself. You know, they're looking to invest, they're looking to do innovation, you know, and we want to show them this is something that very quickly will end up helping you in more ways than one. I have also had a lot of experience in focusing on, you know, up to now, I've more been talking about cases that were focusing on employees, so office buildings or that sort of thing. But then there are also other ones from a customer facing. So you might think stadiums, like we mentioned earlier, but you could think amusement parks. You could also think airports, retail malls, these sorts of things that customers go to, and they either have an experience that is good, oh, wow, that's really cool, that's something really interesting, or one that's completely unobtrusive where folks don't need to worry about feeling comfortable at all. The facility just does it behind the scenes for them. So those are the most common use cases that we've found, but how those sort of evolve and differentiate depends on what the customer is most interested in. The great thing about these guided outcomes is that they tend to be soft bill of materials. It's something where we can work with existing footprints. and something where we can bring in new technology, existing technology, or even technology that is beyond this. So for example, in the COVID-19 case that we're looking to pilot, we've been speaking with the UN on this to kind of move forward. We are bringing into it with the chatbot, kind of putting in procurement requests to Ariba as well. This isn't something that is a standard offering with intelligent buildings, but it's something that is really important to be able to secure personally protective equipment, ventilators, any of these other things that our first responders need to be able to fight this virus.
Okay, perfect. I must say that this is one of the most sought after session, because I haven't seen the questions, but there are 12 questions on my screen, which are at the moment, and there are quite a few on LinkedIn as well. So let's go one by one. I think everyone is enjoying the session. I request you guys, you watching, you want to ask a question, please ask Tom now, and I will take it up. We've got time. By the way, I must say, Tom, for Tom, it is 3 a.m. in the morning, and Tom has taken that time out in the middle of the night to answer your question. So I think we must respect that a bit and ask as many questions and make use of his time. First of all, I would like to thank you, Tom, for making that time out at 3 in the morning. It is amazing. And really, I would say it's a great dedication to the cause. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it.
Okay. I have got, let's start from here. I will go Facebook first, and then I will come to you. Well, they mostly Facebook, so let's go Facebook. Okay, the first is by Bhushan Nikumb, and he says, hello, SAP team. Hi, Bhushan, how are you? Bhushan is saying hello from India. Then I've got Vijay Biradar. Hi, greetings, I'm from Bangalore in India. So hi, Vijay, how are you?
I've got to get out to Bangalore. Got a lot of people that I like working with out there.
Yeah. It's a great team. Okay, I think it's a question from Vijay Biradar. And Vijay, your question is, I am certified consultant. Can you help me to get better opportunities in SAP Life? Tom and Shailendra, my email ID is whatever.
Ooh.
Sorry. We'll take that off very quickly. Okay. Neeraj Gupta from Facebook is saying, can you explain any use case of AI and IoT in enterprises? I think we've explained a couple of them out there. You want to add something to that, Tom?
Yeah, so a lot of this in terms of intelligent buildings will focus on what the customer problem is. So we're really coming at it to tackle a specific scenario here. So one of the ones that we have focused on for AI, most notably with anything in conversational AI and building a chatbot that's able to orchestrate via an operations manager, an action. So putting together a service ticket that is sent to and classified to the correct person. The operations manager doesn't need to know the entirety of the stat by hand. The chatbot will have the ability to fill in that information based on the content of the ticket, of the request.
Sure. Okay. The next part of this question from Neeraj was any module example that you want to give?
Module example, I might need a little bit more clarification.
So, Neeraj, if you've got, if you're still online and you're watching us, if you've got to add to this, and I'll take that going forward. Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. Vijay Biradar says SAP need to develop new tools for small scale industries too. So my question is intelligent buildings only for large organizations and large building providers, or is it for small home units as well? How do we play in that market?
Yeah, so it's something where it is a case-by-case basis, of course, but it's not simply for something that are massive in terms of governments or whatnot. We can end up deploying this for a single hospital, for example. We could focus this on a single stadium. We could focus this on something that's a little bit smaller. If folks are interested in something that is bringing together that IoT, bringing the machine learning, and really focusing on the scenario to make your facility work for you, then intelligent buildings is really the guided outcome to take a look at.
Okay, Perfect. Next question is from Kiran Nanduri. Hi, Kiran. How are you? He's saying, "Hi, Thomas. Do we list of already proven use cases widely used? You have the use cases, right?
Yes, we do. So we have a listing. Forgive me, I don't have the actual flowchart here, but we actually have, based on the framework that I gave very early, there are 4 different use cases in the way that we clarify this with the building analytics, with the building maintenance, building management, and building security. And from those, we have, I want to say 22 scenarios in total that we've really been focusing on. Now, there are some that we've done more than others. Again, this Intelligent Buildings Guided Outcome is fairly young in terms of life cycle for SAP. However, we've gotten a crack, particularly at energy management, space utilization most, and then things like customer experience after that. Now, in terms of all 22, I don't think we've hit necessarily all of those yet, but we are more than happy to talk with any particular customer about what they need.
Perfect. Next is from Saurabh Babar. Hi, Saurabh. He's saying, "Hello, people of the internet."
Hello.
Then Kiran Nanduri says, "Any thoughts on linking IoT with
I love this. So,
with extra use cases in real life scenarios?"
so I love this question because I did my doctorate, and I was, during that time, I did my dissertation in Qualtrics, so doing XM stuff, right? And then ended up was an independent consultant in between my ending my academic career as a PhD, so finished that up. I did work just on the side doing development with the API for Qualtrics. Now, fast forward all of these years, suddenly we've acquired Qualtrics, and I'm so excited because I have 10 years experience with it. And yes, we do end up putting these things into and considering putting it into intelligent buildings. One example is that hospital case that I was talking about in identifying COVID-19 and being able to focus on assets within a hospital to track those things to allow first responders, doctors, et cetera, to know where things are. Open beds, ventilators, these sorts of things. The other side of that is, wow, the first responders are having a really difficult time getting through this particular tragic set of circumstances. We need to keep a very careful pulse on these individuals. And so as part of this thing that we've put forth to the UN, it does include a Qualtrics portion of it. Being able to identify things at risk or persons at risk of burnout, be able to reallocate resources as necessary, and understand deeply how these people are navigating this particular virus.
Okay, thank you. Next question or next point, next comment is from Vijay again. He says, "Amazing, Mr. Tom."
Thank you.
Ajinkya Kotkar. Hi, Ajinkya, how are you? "I want to do SAP in FICO. How is the scope for it? And thank you for your session." I don't know whether that's a question for you. Maybe a general question. We'll take it later. Kiran says, "Thanks, Tom, for your efforts."
Well, thank you for being here.
Yep. Somin Das. Hi, Somin, how are you? He's saying module, and I don't know what that means, but Somin, if you can elaborate on that, we will take that question again. Kiran says, Kiran Nanduri again, "Can help with SAP strategy towards IoT looking forward." Okay. That's fine. Neeraj Gupta. Neeraj Gupta is saying, "Hi, Neeraj, how are you? Are you handling this in REFX module or in EAM module?"
Oh, okay. Yeah. EAM, to my knowledge, yes.
Okay.
Things will always depend based on customers, but.
Okay. So that's good. Hi, Neeraj. Hopefully you've got the answer to your question. That's a big one. From Sharath Akula. Hi, Sharath, how are you? He says, "Hi, considering the current pandemic and ongoing economic crisis, how it will be affecting SAP as a whole, comparing to Oracle, and how SAP Intelligence will sustain the market considering the license cost?" I don't think that's an answer we could attempt, and I will leave it there itself. Next question. Kiran, again, he says, "Can I refer to any SAP links for the 22 examples mentioned?"
Very shortly, we will end up having a landing page on sap.com that will focus on these guided outcomes. So it will be beyond just mine, but I will be one of those use cases that will be jumping right out of the gate. So I don't have a link for you today, but it will be appearing. Stay tuned on SAP.com.
Okay. Then there is a question from Parikshit Kumar Bias. Hi, Parikshit, how are you? There is a question from Snehashish Samadar. Hi, Snehashish, how are you? Hi, what are the new long-term opportunities SAP is exploring for manufacturing industries regarding to such future pandemics?
I actually have a comment on that, actually.
Okay, that's good.
I think it's something where we are taking this extraordinarily seriously. We have opened up multiple different ways for our workers to jump in and really fight this pandemic, utilizing our software, but also partnering with a few different organizations, partners outside. We have a 1 billion lives initiative that we really commit to. And so what I think that I can say is that manufacturing, having worked with them several times on this, is starting to really think about this in a long-term effort. So I can't help you with individual opportunities, of course, but I know that folks are really thinking about this now. And I know that this pandemic is going to be not the last that we'll deal with. So
that's for sure. Okay. Next question is from Parikshit Kumar Bias. Again, he's saying, I'm currently working on devices which help to control outbreak of COVID-19 with the help of IoT. Suggest me something better. Don't know what that means. It's an open-ended question. Suggest me something better. Can you be much more descriptive, Parikshit, if you can? Unless, Tom, you have any comment on that?
So working on devices to help control the outbreak, that's wonderful. The thing that we're focusing on, I think, for this use case is managing what's already happened. So if folks are already getting sick, they're going to hospitals, we need to be able to understand which particular hospitals are getting hit the hardest, have predictions of how much demand they're going to need for things like ventilators, or on the other side for the actual employees doing things like personally protective equipment. But at the same time, we want to do something very, very quickly. For this particular use case, it's very difficult to get into a zone that is particularly infectious and be able to spend a ton of time installing a lot of complex sensors. So for the time being, what we've been doing is focusing on something very small, things like barcodes that anyone can scan, and it will tell you that where that thing is or update where it is. So doing something a little bit smaller and simple really does help with this whole thing with pandemics. I, of course, am not going to convince you of that, this is something better than what it is you're doing. I don't actually know what it is that you're doing, but I got to note that all of these things, these combined efforts together, are helping. And so I appreciate you. Thank you.
Good stuff. The next question is, and I don't know whether you want to take it, it is from Nivedita Agarwal. Hi, Nivedita. She says, I want to know about SAP FICO.
Okay, yeah, so that I don't actually have a lot of expertise on FICO, but I know that you said that you wanted to bring in new guests that were involved in certain topics. Maybe that would be a good one for the next one.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Nilesh Gunjal, hi Nilesh. He says, I'm currently working as a sales professional. If you want to move to SAP, which is the best module to go with? I can't answer that question, and I don't know about you, Tom.
All of them.
Okay. Let me look at this one. Kiran Nanduri says, thanks, Shailendra, for your efforts. One more question. Do we have any new learnings in OpenSAP.com related to IoT we can expect so that we are equipped better for answering the customer queries?
In terms of the Intelligent Buildings Open SAP, we haven't actually done it on that front yet. We've been doing a lot of enablement now with our Salesforce particularly, and kind of getting that traction to understand. I think that you'll be seeing a lot more customer-facing material or external-facing material when we sort of launch live on SAP.com, coming very soon.
Okay. And the last question from Parikshit, or not comment from Parikshit, he's saying, thank you very much, sir. So let's move on from Facebook to LinkedIn. and get the questions right one by one. So the first comment was from Balaji Govindrao. He says, greetings from Balaji. Hi, Balaji, how are you? Owen Roberts said, hi, Shelley, how are you? Hi, Owen, how are you? Craig Schreiber, greetings all. Aditya Garg said, hi. Hi, Aditya, how are you? Mendu Chakrapani says, hi, Chandra Kumar. Rudin Snell said, he just smiled, said, hi, Rudin, how are you? Hi, Rudy. Vijay Rai, hi, Shailendra and Tom. And his question, Vijay Rai, I need to. So Vijay Rai is a CEO of Visionary Business Technologies, people leader, digital and development strategies, and he's a president of NHRDN. His questions, he's got two questions. One is, hi, Shailendra and Tom, great to participate in Assimilate. Along with smart tech, I think kindness, compassion, and empathy are also going to be big movers to restore equality and equal opportunity. Don't you think so?
Yes, I agree. And that's something where I try to, and even in my bio, I was sort of thinking about what it was that I was interested in here at SAP. A lot of what I prioritize is focusing on the things that matter in terms of social impact. And so almost all of my solutions that I focus primarily on have a social good bent towards it. One of the ones that I focused on earlier was on cutting food wastage and being able to prevent just a lot of excess stuff being thrown out. Now, of course, as you notice, that will likely end up costing folks less if they're able to predict better. Intelligent buildings for the energy optimization, we're just over the moon about how much energy we could save that customer, which also helped their bottom line. And kind of moving forward, we're focusing on experience management for employees to make sure that they are supported all throughout their career from hire to retire. So I agree with you.
Okay. There is a comment from Mendu Chakrapani. He says, great. Thank you, Mendu. Seng Huso says, Unifor is the leading conversational AI. I have never heard of it. Have you heard of Unifor?
No, I haven't actually.
I haven't either. Okay. Aditya Garg smiles. Hi, Aditya. Then there is Yulis. He says, hello, Mr. My name is Yulis from Indonesia. So there was someone from Indonesia saying hi to you. Mo, our good old friend Mohammed Abdul Hadi from Germany said, you're doing a good job, Tom.
Thank you.
Rudy Snell has said something. He said, could we adapt intelligent solutions to intelligent homes in the future?
Yes. So first off, Rudy, I have to call out Rudy here and say that this gentleman is a fabulous person in working on this particular project with. I see this kind of technology influencing individual homes and helping people to live their best life in terms of sustainability. As homes become more intelligent, I want to be able to see that we can end up having a measurable impact globally, not just per business, but to have this touch the standard person as some sort of service where they can move through and make their home, their domicile work for them.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And I know Rudy very well, and Rudy is a champion at doing this. So thank you, Rudy, for the question. Hope you got the answer. And I know the answer was for the audience. Hopefully, audience got an insight out of that. Last question from Mendu Chakrapani. He says, are you associated with any smart cities project or railway station development project in India?
In India, not to my knowledge at the present time. Things are moving very quickly here in talking with the UN, multiple regional governments, and kind of moving forward with the COVID case. This is something where I want to end up talking with several different folks. I know that we've already spoken with particular city governments within South Africa. So I can think of two examples off of the top of my head where we've kind of moved into it. India, I am not directly certain of that, but I do believe that we are looking to add to that roster as things move along.
Okay, perfect. Not any more questions apart from a comment from Kiran Nanduri saying thanks, Tom. So Tom, thank you very much. We slated 20 minutes. We've gone 40.
Yeah, sorry.
You've done a great job, and thank you very much. And thank you for being awake at 3 a.m. For you, it's going to be 4 a.m. now by the time you get off to bed. And
anything for you guys. I really appreciate it. This is a wonderful opportunity. Thanks for allowing me to talk to your audience.
Good stuff. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us, and I'll see you soon.
All right. See you then.
Thanks. So, guys, that was Tom Tibbett from all the way from the US at 3 a.m. in the morning. I'm so thankful to him that he's taken time out to do this session again, and to all the audience. And I think we had more than 600 people watching us at the same time, which was huge. And to all the questions that came through during the show, and they were like, they're not ending, they're still coming. But thank you very much, guys. Thank you for watching us. I hope we've answered the questions you've asked. And of course, we've created more questions in your mind. If you have any more questions, please feel free to put them in the comment section, and we will try to address them. Secondly, if you want someone in the space, in the emerging technology space, you want to hear from, please put their name in the comments box, and I will make sure that I get them here on the show. So thank you very much for taking the time out. Please stay indoors. It is of utmost importance, and stay safe. I'll see you tomorrow again with another Intelligent Technologies Marathon episode. Bye now. See you later.